What if Jeff Bezos died tomorrow? If you didn't know who Jeff Bezos was, which I would frankly find a bit shocking at this point, he is one of the richest men on the planet. The founder of the mammoth company Amazon currently boasts a whopping $201 billion in net worth. Much like a lot of the other major success stories in the world, Bezos had a dream, got to working on his company in his garage, and just over 25 years later, it is having over $100 billion in sales quarterly. Well, maybe that's not like other success stories, but you get what I mean. He started low and worked his way into his monstrous fortune that he owns today. Jeff owns Amazon, but he also owns a bunch of other companies as well. Some fall under the ownership of Amazon, like Whole Foods, Twitch, Audible, Zappos, and others are their own entity, like the Washington Post, Blue Origin, and Bezos Expedition. All of this ownership not only makes Bezos one of the richest men in the world, but it also makes him one of the most influential as well. All of this being said, if he died tomorrow, it would be a really big deal. But what would happen? Would I no longer be able to order my Christmas gifts from Amazon? Could I still watch Ninja annihilate people on Twitch? What about all of his $201 billion that he has? Who's getting all of that? Well, folks, that's why you clicked on this video. Time to take a look at what would happen if Jeff Bezos died tomorrow. First things first, what would happen to Amazon? The brainchild of the 100 billionaire and one of the most successful companies on the entire planet. In fact, before we talk about what would happen to it, let's look at some interesting Amazon facts to put in perspective how massive this brainchild of Jeff Bezos has become. Every single month, Amazon has roughly 200 million people from around the world visit their site. That is larger than the entire population of Russia, and it happens every single month. Also, this one blows me away, but 9 out of 10 consumers will price check something on Amazon. If you're making a big purchase, then a lot of times people will double check with Amazon and see if it is either the same price or lower than the current place that they're looking to purchase from. Here's another good one too. During the holiday season, there are some Amazon warehouses that ship over 100 million items. That is just single warehouses, not even the company as a whole. And speaking of a million, Amazon has over 1 million employees worldwide, with the current number sitting around the 1.3 million mark. Amazon is massive, but would the death of its respective father cause it to suffer a major collapse? Well, the short answer is no. Jeff Bezos is actually no longer the CEO of Amazon, and he stepped down from this position earlier this year. The current CEO of Amazon is a man named Andy Jassy. Andy joined Amazon in 1997, and he's been with it ever since. He's often looked at Jeff Bezos as a mentor and has learned a lot about business from him. Through the years, he rose through the Amazon ranks and took up the role of being Jeff Bezos' shadow. People loosely refer to shadows as a brain double, and that's what Andy was to Jeff. He was included in every email, part of every meeting, and consulted with Jeff about every big decision going on in the company. Therefore, it was only natural that when Jeff wanted to step down from the role of CEO, Andy was the natural successor. This doesn't mean that Jeff isn't without major say in the company though. His vision still looms large, and he is still the leading shareholder of Amazon with more than 10% of shares in the company. Jeff has a fascination with space and wants to spend the majority of his time attempting to go to space and make advancements in that field. That's why he left the day-to-day ongoings of running Amazon to Andy. Therefore, if Jeff Bezos was to die tomorrow, Amazon, at least for the short term, wouldn't collapse and would still be running smoothly under the vision of Andy. I will admit though that there would certainly be a dip in the stock price. Jeff Bezos isn't expected to die anytime soon, considering he's still in very good health, and a sudden death like that would cause a slight market panic. However, this should rebound over time. I would be worried about Amazon's long-term outlook though. Jeff Bezos has always been the type of businessman who prioritizes growth over profits. Over time, this growth has obviously resulted in huge profits, but typically whenever he's faced with a decision that can either make him more money now or make him less money now but put more money into the company, he will opt for the latter choice, making less money now but reinvesting into his company for future growth. Even though Bezos stepped down from the CEO role, he transitioned transitioned over to the title of executive chair of Amazon's board. This means that he is pivotal in the future direction of the company and any big decisions and changes in direction that Amazon would like to go in. Now, Andy acted as Jeff Bezos' shadow for decades, and in no way am I saying that he would be inept at making these decisions should Jeff Bezos pass away. However, I do think that there could be cause for concern about the long-term outlook of Amazon without the guidance of Jeff Bezos at the helm. It's the idea of when a great sports team loses their champion coach or their massive franchise player who's been with the team since the beginning of their career. That doesn't automatically mean that that sports team is bound for failure, but life without that player or that coach can be a difficult adjustment period. It's said that Jeff Bezos has some massive long-term goals for Amazon and that he is by no means finished growing his company just because he stepped down from the CEO position. I imagine that some of these visions have been voiced to Andy and the team of executives, but there's no doubt that the team would be put to the test if Jeff was to die tomorrow. Also, if Jeff Bezos was to die tomorrow, what is going to happen to all that money? Well, sadly guys, it wouldn't be going to you or me. Well, unless you happen to be one of Jeff Bezos' 4 kids, which I highly doubt, but if you are one of his 4 kids, then comment it down below. That would be really cool. Jeff Bezos and his wife of 25 years, Mackenzie Scott, divorced in 2019. Mackenzie got 25% of Jeff's Amazon stocks and also became a 4% owner of the company. With no current wife though, this means that Jeff's vast wealth will fall to his 4 children. Together, Jeff and Mackenzie had 4 kids, and even though their lives are kept relatively private from the public, we do know a little bit about them. We know that he has 3 sons and 1 daughter. His daughter was adopted, and one of his sons is named Preston Bezos. Other than that though, there isn't a whole lot that's known about these children. However, when it comes to inheritance, these kids are certainly set up very nicely. When their father does pass away, then it is said that these 4 children will inherit his massive fortune and empire. The exact percentage of inheritance isn't known, but one would imagine that it would be equally split amongst the 4 of them, which would still work itself out to be an exorbitant amount of money. I should also note that currently Jeff is dating news anchor Lauren Sanchez. Now the pair aren't married yet, so if Jeff was to die tomorrow, her existence wouldn't change anything, but if they were to get married in the future, then the inheritance would likely change slightly. But if Jeff has any hopes of marrying her, then he'd better watch out for Leonardo DiCaprio. Lauren was certainly a tad bit starstruck the other evening when Leo showed up, but that's neither here nor there. If Jeff Bezos was to die tomorrow, Amazon wouldn't fall apart, his other companies wouldn't collapse, the stock market wouldn't fall apart, and life as we know it wouldn't go up in smoke. I would imagine that there would certainly be some sad people though, his family most of all. In some of the other videos that we've done here, we looked at what would happen if the Queen died and what would happen if the Pope died. And basically I said that the world would be sad, but also it wouldn't come as quite as much of a shock considering they're both respectively very old. Being 57 years old and in great health, Jeff's death would certainly cause a major shock to the world. But regardless of your personal feelings towards Jeff Bezos, the man is incredibly smart, and he has set his legacy up in a way that even if he was to die tomorrow, everything he has built wouldn't suddenly all come crashing down. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about all of this. If Jeff was to die tomorrow, do you think that Amazon would slowly phase out over the following years, or would it continue its meteoric rise as one of the biggest companies the world has ever seen? Let me know. Also, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Nicholas Playlog, and I'll catch you next time.